This is a mobile storage unit that I recently built for my own garage. However, have you ever had one of those aha moments? Well, thanks to a comment on my YouTube channel that was so good that I had to completely rethink this entire build and make a second mobile storage unit that makes even more sense than the first.
One of the best things about having a YouTube community is the fact that I can go on there and look at all the comments and suggestions for a build like this. I made this mobile storage unit a few months ago, and I had an amazing comment saying, well, if it's on casters, why don't you have totes on both sides so you can spin it around easily and access both sides of the totes? Well, I did not think about that originally. Now I do, and I figured might as well make one to see if it really works. This one can hold 20 totes. The next one's gonna hold 32. So let's see if we can build one and accommodate that size.
So Trace, if you're watching, this one's for you. With a project like this, I wanted to keep the materials as simple as possible along with as cheap as possible. So at the tail end of this video, I'll make sure and note how much I spent on this entire build. But till then, I'm going to be cutting down everything to size first and then assembly. Instead of purchasing 2x3 material, I decided to actually purchase 2x6 and rip them down accordingly to save on costs. If I didn't do this, I'd have to purchase 24 2x3s, and in this case, I only had to purchase 6 2x6s. Since these are 10-foot boards, I'm able to get 2 pieces that are 60 inches long and then rip them down to size. Once I have all my 2x6 material cut to 60 inches long, I then set my fence width to 2 5/8, which basically allows me to get as much material out of this lumber as possible, because I'm running the board through the table saw once, and then I'm grabbing the secondary piece that's not on the fence line and running that through in order to make sure that each piece is perfectly the same size. By doing this, I'm able to get 24 pieces out of 6 pieces of lumber, which is quite impressive and definitely saved me some money. These pieces are specifically the rails where our totes are going to be resting on as we slide them into place. But now that we have all those cut, we can move on to our 2x4 and 4x4 material. I'm going to be needing 4 4x4s that are 63 inches long. These are going to be our corner posts for our system, and once those are cut down to size, I then cut 2 more 4x4s at 94.5 inches long. These are going to be our base plate for the system. This same measurement is applied to our top cap, which is going to be a 2x4 material, but it's still going to be 94.5 inches long. The last thing we'll be cutting at this moment is going to be our 2x4 vertical rails, which is basically going to be our divider system for each tote column. And we're going to need 6 of these for this build. And I do know that I'm throwing out a lot of measurements within this build, so in order to accommodate the needs of anyone that wants plans for this build, I do have these readily available in the video description below, so if you are interested, please check those out because that greatly helps support the channel. All your support is truly appreciated, whether you're just watching the video or wanting the plans itself, so keep that in mind and let's get to assembly. The structural ability factor with our first build was very sturdy and straightforward, so I kept that consistent, and all we're doing is pre-drilling 2 holes in each corner and then securing it tightly with these 6-inch long headlock screws by Fasten Master. I do the same exact process that we did with our base plate to our top cap, even if our top cap is utilizing 2x4 material instead of 4x4 material. Still plenty strong and sturdy for this system. Just want to keep things consistent and as strong as possible. Once all 4 corners are secure, I then do a cross-dimensional measurement on both sides to guarantee that our entire structure is square. We are looking for the same exact measurement on both sides, which in this case is 116 inches and 3/8. We then proceed to laying out our measurement for our columns, and we do this on the top and bottom of our structure. The real factor with this build in comparison to my first build is this key element of the width between each column. I want to make sure this system can hold any tote, whether it's from Costco, Lowe's, Walmart, Amazon, or even Home Depot, and they're all different sizes. So in order to guarantee that every single one of these totes can fit into this system, I need to make sure that we have at least 20 3/4 of an inch between each stud. I secure the base of our column with our base plate utilizing the same 6-inch long lag screws, and once those are fully installed, I then go to the top and secure the top of our columns with our top cap utilizing a 2.5-inch screw. You can use most general purpose wood screws, but in this circumstance, I'm using a GRK fastener. And if there are any tools or materials that you see in this video that you want to purchase yourself, I want to make it as easy as possible, so I do have links in the description box below. The same exact process that we just did is replicated with the second system, and once that's fully installed and assembled, we can move on to casters. The casters that we're incorporating on this project are the same exact caster that we installed previously on the other system, which are these 5-inch tall, 350-pound capacity casters that are lockable as well. And that means this system can accommodate over 1,400 pounds if you add it all up, which is plenty of weight and structural support for this build. With all 4 casters fully installed, we can move on to making sure that we have the cross bracing accounted for in order to attach our 2 sidewalls together. I cut 4 4x4s at 53 inches long, and in order to reduce the amount of waste at these cuts, I do suggest getting 10-footers or reducing the overall dimension from 53 inches down to 48 inches so you can get at least 2 pieces per 8-foot board. I stand our sidewalls up on the top cap, that way it's not moving around on me as I'm securing the side bracing together. Each side bracing gets 2 6-inch long fasteners at every single location. Just remember when you're pre-drilling to avoid the fasteners that you previously installed at this location, and I was actually easily able to do this by acknowledging the fact that I was placing the first 2 fasteners at a diagonal angle, and the second 2 fasteners are going to be placed in the dead center of that board. Once all 4 corners are fully assembled, we can finally flip our framework up onto the wheels. Now this probably would have been a lot easier with a second person, but it also would have been a lot easier if my ceilings were just a little bit taller. My garage is only 93 inches tall from slab to the joists, which means I had to give it a few love taps to nudge it in the right direction. That worked. With our frame finally on the ground, I can lay out our center supports at the very base, and this provides stiffness for the frame, but it also provides a way for our totes to lay right on top of the framing versus resting on the rails on the very bottom row. There should be approximately 9.5 inches of space between each stud, and once pre-drilled, I'm able to secure each center support properly with a 6-inch long screw. If you prefer the bottom row just to hang on the rails as all the other rows, then you can always do that and avoid this step, but this is how I'm building this system. In terms of spacing for the rails that we cut at the very beginning of this video, there's 3 rows, and the first row is going to be measured at 29 1/8 inch, the second row is 45 inches, and the last row is 60 5/8 inch. I replicate these 3 marks on every single vertical post, and then once that's taken care of, I can move on to the rails. In order to make the installation process as easy and straightforward as possible, I lay out a handful of rails and pre-drill a few screws on every single one. That way they're ready to go and properly spaced, and all I have to do is clamp one side down and then go to the other side, fasten that side down, and then come back to the other side, screw that one down, and proceed to doing the next one, and the next one, and the next one. This really is an easy and straightforward process. It just takes a little time and energy, and to make sure the top of every one of these boards is lined up with the mark that you previously made. I did have one mishap, but I'd say 1 out of 24 boards is pretty doggone good as far as an average, and I made a quick correction, and we can move on to totes. The totes I purchased in the first build were from Home Depot, but these totes are actually from Costco. Number one, because they were the cheapest totes out of all the large box stores in my area, and 2, they were also the widest totes, which is why I wanted to make sure that this system could hold and handle the wide totes as well as the narrowest totes, which are the Home Depot totes. Be rest assured that whether you're purchasing your totes from Costco, Home Depot, Lowe's, Walmart, Amazon, or any other large box store, most likely, this system is going to fit those totes. I absolutely love this entire system and how it turned out, and as you can see, the functionality of it works out perfectly. As I mentioned at the beginning of this video, here's the overall cost of this entire unit. Not the cheapest system, but it really does solve a storage need in my household, and just remember, if you're making a comment, I might build it. And that's what I call one beautiful, sexy beast. Oh yeah,